This video gives an overview of the process for registering interests in rolling stock. We will look at register an international interest as an example. The other types of registrations will follow similar steps. You can read the user manual for details about each registration. To register an interest, click on the New Filing tab on the left. In this list you can find various types of submissions that can be made. You can also start the submission from the relevant dashboard card. On the creditor details screen, search for and select the relevant entities. Type in the name of the entity to be added as a creditor. The application will offer options based on the information entered. To be identified as the creditor, the entity must be registered as an active authenticated entity. Click Save to add the selected entity to the list of creditors. You can then add more creditors or continue to the next step by clicking Next. On the debtor details screen, follow the same steps as in the creditor details section. If needed, you can save your application as a draft at any point where the option is available, to come back to it at a later time in the My Filings area. Click Next to continue. A submission can include one or multiple IRVIS identifiers, and this page has two options for adding them. You have the option of doing a bulk upload using a CSV file, the template for which can be found on this page. You can also add them manually one by one. Here, add the IRVIS identifier and optionally you can add the running number also. Click Save to add this IRVIS identifier to the submission. You can add more IRVIS identifiers by repeating this step. When you are done, click Next to proceed. Should the registration be of a fractional or partial nature, select the Yes option and enter the amount in percentage format. Up to 6 decimals are allowed. Otherwise, select No. The duration of the registration can be set by using the lapse date. Registrations submitted without a lapse date will remain on the register until discharged. In this section, a list of all parties added as creditors will be presented. Select the creditor that is intended to have the sole right to consent to discharge. Click Next to continue. Review application details and complete the required declaration, then click Submit. Your submission has been saved, and now the consent process has to be completed in order to continue. Consent of all creditor and debtor parties is required to complete the submission. All parties required to consent to the submission will be notified by email. Go to the Consents tab to review and manage any consents awaiting your review. Administrators of named parties and administrators of designated representatives of named parties are able to consent to a submission. Click on the View icon to review the consents required of you for a particular submission. Click Submit Consent. Review the submission and complete the consent section at the bottom of the page as appropriate. Click Next to continue. Review and complete the required declaration, then click Submit. Upon initial submission, parties have 36 hours to complete the consent submissions. Should the consents not be received within the 36-hour time frame, the submission is returned to draft status and is available in the applicant's My Filings area. Once all consents have been received, go to My Filings to continue with the submission. The Payments tab will list the submissions that have received the necessary consents and that can be finalized by paying the registration fee. Open the submission to proceed to payment. Provide payment card details and click Pay by credit card. To view your completed filings, click on My Filings. You can view your completed filings under the Completed tab, and you can find notifications in relation to your submissions in the Messages tab.